This is a story of the Jesus Prayer, taken from the Book of Life by Metropolitan Panteleimon Faustinus of Chios. Many years ago, a certain young man lived in a small village of our homeland who desired to live the monastic life from his youth. However, there were several difficulties. He was illiterate, a stutterer, simple-minded, and he had various family obligations. However, at a young age of around 40, he was able to realize his hidden desire. He left his village and, traveling from place to place, he ended up on a barren island where he encountered an elderly ascetic who comforted his heart, and he became his pupil. With much amazement, he would perceive that when his elder prayed, his whole being shined radiantly, particularly when he would beseech God, saying, "Lord, have mercy on me," with tears in his eyes. This elder ascetic was also illiterate, but his counsels were priceless and full of wisdom, and all of his spiritual effort was concentrated on how his pupil would learn to pray with these words, "Lord, have mercy on me." On the last day of his life, the elderly ascetic gave his pupil his half-torn wool cassock. He laid down on the ground, made the sign of the cross, and after saying, "Lord, have mercy on me. Lord, have mercy on me. Lord, have mercy on me," 3 times, his saintly soul soared into the heavens. After the death and burial of his elder, the aforementioned pupil remained alone on the barren island as an ascetic and hesychist, living in a cave, strictly keeping the very same prayer rule and canon that his elder had given him. In this way, he spent 30 years of his life before ever seeing another person again. As the years passed, and due to his stuttering and simple-mindedness, he would confuse the words of the prayer. And praying, he would say, "Lord, do not have mercy on me." His heart, however, was fully given over to God, and for this reason, the tears flowed abundantly from his aged eyes when he would pray day and night with contrition and heartache, repeating, "Lord, do not have mercy on me," thousands of times. One spring day, a boat anchored near the barren island. One of the passengers was the bishop of that area. The captain, in order to please the bishop and to give him some rest, took him with a small boat to the island for a walk. There they came across a small trail which they followed, and they arrived before the entrance to a cave. Inside, they heard the heartfelt prayer of the ascetic, who said without ceasing, "Lord, do not have mercy on me." The bishop advanced further, and he saw an ascetic, thin as can be, with eyes sunken into their sockets, kneeling and shining full of light, praying and weeping simultaneously. With much care and reserve, the bishop tried to tell him that this prayer is not correct, and that he ought to say, "Lord, have mercy on me." The ascetic was alarmed, believing that for 30 years he had done harm to his soul, burst into tears, beseeching the bishop to teach him the correct way to say the prayer. He, in turn, with awe, attempted for quite a while to correct his tongue so that he could say, "Lord, have mercy on me." As the bishop left, the ascetic accompanied him to the seashore, repeating, "Lord, have mercy on me," repeatedly so that he would not forget it. The boat departed, and the ascetic watched it as it sailed away, repeating constantly, "Lord, have mercy on me." Not even 5 minutes had passed, and the hermit forgot, "Lord, have mercy on me." He became flustered and got dizzy. Now what am I going to do?" And he burst into tears. In his despair, he threw his bundled up cassock into the sea, and after doing so, he ventured toward the boat. "It's a ghost! It's a ghost!" the sailors cried out in fear. After hearing the commotion, the bishop ascended to the deck. He made eye contact with the ascetic and saw him, crying out to him, "How should I say it? How should I say it, my dear bishop?" And the bishop in turn replied with contrition, "Say whatever you used to say, my child. This is the best prayer for your soul. Please forgive me and make the sign of the cross for me too."